So I do not normally keep up with new releases. My backlist of older books is far too long. I'm a slow reader and I can't keep up. But I am on the mailing list for Penguin Random House, and they sent out their list of anticipated summer releases, and some of them looked really interesting. Before I start on this list though, this is only one publishing house. There will be other good books coming out from other publishers, and a couple that I am anticipating that are not on this list are Isles of the Emberdark by Brandon Sanderson. As a backer to the Kickstarter, I will be able to read that book starting on July 1st. And I believe people who are not part of that Kickstarter can still purchase an ebook version on July 10th. Physical copies by that point will start going out to the backers first and then eventually trickle out to bookstores to where anyone can get one. Isles of the Emberdark was a secret project. Secret novel, and like the secret novels that came out a couple of years ago, I have not looked into what it's about. I just want to be surprised. I do know it's part of the Cosmere. And then another one I'm looking forward to, which comes out July 15th, is The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst. That one comes after The Spell Shop, which is a cozy fantasy with a little romance included. I believe that one will have new characters, and while in the same world, will be in a different place, have its own story, and I'm looking forward to that one a lot. So, to the list. I had never heard of most of these that I'm going to talk about. Silver Elite, I've seen going around a little bit. That's not one that I'm anticipating. It's a sizzling dystopian romance series, which is not normally my thing, but I know there will be some people who love it. The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. That name sounds really interesting. The little blurb is, loyalties are tested in this slow burn enemies to lovers romantasy, following an assassin and a healer forced to work together to cure a fatal disease, all while resisting the urge to kill each other, or worse, fall in love. That one seems like it could be fun, depending on how the story is told. It's by Bridget Knightley, who I've never heard of, never read anything by her, but it sounds like just a fun romance story. That's one where I may wait to see what other people have to say about it before I try it. I'm kind of picky about my romantasy. This one I'm interested in. This one is The Magician of Tiger Castle by Louis Sakar, which I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it is the author of the children's book Holes, which I thought I had down there. It must be on my son's shelf. But I loved Holes as a kid. I thought it was a very well-written book. I haven't read it in a long time, so maybe there's stuff I've forgotten, but my memories of it are positive. The blurb for that one says, the beloved author of Holes presents his first adult novel, a modern fantasy classic of forbidden love, a crumbling kingdom, and the unexpected magic all around us. So, doesn't really say much plot-wise. I'm interested based on the author. I like the words classic fantasy. Technically it says fantasy classic, so we'll see. But that is one I am interested in trying out. I like when an author who has written children's books decides to go into more of an adult audience, just see what they have to make, see what kind of story he decides to tell there. Quite a few Star Wars books. Star Wars Acolyte, Wayseeker by Justina Ireland. This is another one that I am not personally anticipating because I didn't read the first one and I'm not sure that I will. That is A Curse Carved in Bone, which is the sequel to A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. I don't know. I follow the artist who did the cover art for A Fate Inked in Blood. I know that says nothing about the story. When that one came out and was gaining popularity, I just wasn't sure it was for me. Some of the other people that I watch and take in content from had enough to say about it that I just wasn't sure it was one that I wanted to spend my time on. Not that I thought anything was wrong with it or that it would be bad, just that it wouldn't necessarily be for me. But the next book is coming out, so if you liked the first one, you can anticipate the next one. The next one that I am interested in, maybe, is Arcana Academy by Elise Kova. I have not read a lot of like dark academia. I like the idea of magic school, but I don't want magic school to feel too Harry Potter-like. I want it to be its own thing. I'm interested in reading the Scholomance series by Naomi Novik, and the blurb for this one says, a woman who wields magical tarot cards lands herself in a false engagement with the headmaster of a mysterious academy in this first installment of an enthralling fantasy romance series from the best-selling author of A Deal with the Elf King, which I have not read. I don't know anything about this author, but the premise sounds interesting. I did go and read the longer blurb on Amazon, and it makes it sound like the main character gets into some kind of deal with one of the head people at the magic school, and he wants her to do something for him, so she has to pretend to be a student. It sounds like one that could be good, and I am interested in looking into more. I might pick it up closer to like fall time. This feels like a fall read. Magic school feels like back to school time. The weather's getting cooler. I don't know, but I'm going to look into this one more and see what I think. I don't think any of these are going to be ones that I read right away. I have a lot of books to read already, but they're ones that I'm looking forward to maybe trying. Not for me, but for those of you who are interested, the 7th Dungeon Crawler Carl book is coming. The Eye of the Bedlam Bride. I refuse to get drawn in. I feel like Dungeon Crawler Carl has built such a cult fan audience. Like, the people who love it really love it. And then other people say it's the stupidest thing they've ever read. So I think you have to like what it's trying to do and the whole tone of how it's written. I do not want to get drawn in, okay? This one sounds cool. Unfortunately, it is the 2nd book in a series, so I would have to go back and read the first one, but I think it sounds interesting enough for me to try. The one coming out this summer is The Dragon Wakes with Thunder. It is the 2nd book after The Night Ends with Fire. So the blurb for this one is, in the explosive sequel to The Night Ends with Fire, a young woman who wields the unimaginable power of a dragon spirit must decide where her loyalties lie and where her heart belongs in this enthralling fantasy that reimagines the legend of Mulan. So I had gone and looked at the first one, and it's like a Mulan retelling. The author is KX Song, another author that I know nothing about and have not read anything by. I really like the Mulan story. I like the Disney retelling. I like the whole idea of the character, what she tries to do, what she's able to accomplish, and I don't mind trying a new retelling by a new author. So that's another one that I think I will give a try. So the second one coming out is making me want to go back and read the first one. Another Star Wars novel, Sanctuary, a Bad Batch novel by Lamar Giles. This one maybe sounds interesting. I'm not sure if it's really my style or not. It's called The Bewitching by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Oh, it says horror. So no, not for me. 3 women in 3 different eras encounter danger and witchcraft in this eerie, multi-generational horror saga. It's the same author as Mexican Gothic. So if you liked that one, you might like this one. This seems like one to go ahead and buy to support the author and then just set it aside for a couple months and read like around Halloween time as your October read. I felt like there was another one. I don't know about this one. Wrath of the Dragons by Olivia Rose Darling. It's a sequel to a romantasy. Oh my gosh. Best-selling genre. 2 fated lovers must unite against warring kingdoms. That sounds possibly very tropey. Wrath of the Dragons will take you on a journey filled with epic battles and a tender, angsty love for the ages. I feel like that one could draw me in. I might have to look more at the first one that this one is a sequel to. I've kind of avoided romantasy. I read Shield of Sparrows recently and really liked it. And so I feel a little more open to trying other romantasy if it's well done. And I think that's the hard part, is because it's such a it's becoming such a oversaturated subgenre of fantasy that it can be a little hard to find the good ones. But I would look at the first one in this series and see maybe. My TBR grows and grows. Silvercloak Okay by L.K. Stephen. This one, when I looked at it, did not seem that interesting to me. And then I watched Elliot Brooks' anticipated fantasy releases coming up. I think hers was just for July, and she's really looking forward to this one. So I just think that's interesting how different people see a book and go, oh, that one's going to be for me, whereas someone else can look at it and go, nah, pass. Same author as Our Infinite Fates. I have not heard of that one. Comes an addictive new fantasy series where magic is fueled by pleasure and pain, and an obsessive detective must infiltrate a brutal gang of dark mages, knowing that one wrong move will get her killed. To me, I read that little blurb and I'm like, nah, what's the next one? Someone else might read that blurb and go, ooh, sounds interesting. So these are just my personal anticipated releases here. There's others on this list that I'm just skipping and not even talking about. So I do encourage you to look up other people's anticipated releases, look up different publishers, see what they're putting out, just see what else is out there. Another Star Wars book, Trials of the Jedi, The High Republic by Charles Sewell. Okay, here's another one that's like a maybe. The Ever King by L.J. Andrews. For years, Eric, the scarred king of the Ever Kingdom, has thought of nothing but vengeance against the man who killed his father and trapped him beneath the waves, making him a prisoner in his own realm, until his enemy's daughter unintentionally breaks the chains of the Ever, and Eric makes her the unwitting pawn in his vicious game of revenge. She's innocent, he's vicious, but he will take back what he lost no matter the price. So it doesn't say that it's a romance or a romantasy. I feel like that premise could easily set up some kind of enemies to lovers type of thing. The fact that it's not being advertised as that actually makes me more interested. Also, the cover looks really cool. So I saw the cover and that made me stop to read the blurb. The blurb sounds interesting. It'll be another one that I look more into to see if it's one that I feel like reading. More Star Wars, Tempest Breaker, The High Republic by Kevin Scott. That's a lot of Star Wars books all at once. Are these coming out all the time and I'm just not noticing? Okay, there's others on this list, and I know there's other books coming out. Those are the ones that piqued my interest. Those are the ones that I might decide to read. If they are at my library, I might check them out instead of buying them. We'll see. The backlog is so long. But I am making an effort to see what new things are coming. And so coming up in the second half of the year, these might be some that you see appearing here sometimes. We'll see. If you see other new books that are coming out that you think should be paid attention to, go ahead and comment those. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys a lot. I will link my Patreon and my Instagram, and happy reading. Bye.